What is up, TRWC Tailgate family? I am the Majestic. Welcome to the Tailgate Party. We are here on a lovely Wednesday afternoon. So you guys know what that means. We are going to review tonight's AEW Dynamite show. Before we get into everything, just come in here, join the conversation, leave me a comment, and we'll have a good time this afternoon. And we'll go over anything you guys want to talk about. Before we get into everything, I'm going to, there's just a few little things. I didn't really see anything like really strong newsworthy stuff. So we're going to get the little things out of the way real quick before we get into tonight's show. So if y'all want to come in, say hi. I'll greatly appreciate it. And of course, like, share, and subscribe over on the Real Wrestling Community on Facebook. All right, so, we got a comment. Oh, it's Timothy. Hi, Timothy. Yep, we know what that means. AEW Dynamite is tonight, and pretty excited about the show. We'll see what happens, though, because apparently there's a lot of people who live in Florida, and they are getting just hammered by Hurricane Ian right now. So if you are in Florida, prayers to you. Hope you're safe. Stay safe. We'll see what happens with tonight's show and who can make it and who can't. But obviously, anyone who's affected by this really bad storm coming out, we hope that you guys stay safe. Philly. Okay. All right. So what do we have on the thing? Okay. So before we get into the show, Malachi Black recently went live on his Instagram account and was basically bashing the quote-unquote dirt sheets about coming up with stories about him, saying that he is not released from AEW. He was just given some time off, and that his contract was not 5 years long, like a lot of people were saying and speculating that it was. I think from what I could see that people were getting that information from an interview that Tony Khan did. I think it was with Busted Open Radio, if I'm not mistaken. If I am, you can correct me on that. But Malachi Black was saying that not to believe what the dirt sheets say, and that his contract was not 5 years and he was not released, and all these things, and just basically saying be careful where you get your news from. But I do think that people were speculating from an interview with Tony Khan, and I think he hinted at that Malachi Black's contract was 5 years. I think that's where people were getting it from, and maybe it was just misconstrued on what he said, and maybe they just ran with it and decided, hey, this is what he said, and it wasn't the case. Maybe he misspoke. That can happen. So I don't know. But whatever is the case, I do want to say that, here on the Real Wrestling Community, as well as on our podcast, Peaches and Power Bombs, we try to, if we report anything, it's basically we try to use the most credible sources that we can. Basically, if it isn't reported by either the Wrestling Observer or PWI Insider or Fightful Select or Wrestling Inc., I don't report it over here. So we try to be as we try to use the most credible sources that we can find. So just be careful, guys. On the internet, people do make up stories, and so just basically be careful with the information that you find, because it's not always true. Just wanted to give that out. John, thank you so much. Yep, yesterday was my birthday. I had a really good day with my family. I hope you guys checked out my little birthday video that I put out on our YouTube page. I'd appreciate it if you went to Peaches and Power Bombs on YouTube, subscribe over there, and watch that little video that I put out. And Ray All Day is in the chat. Hello. If I'm not mistaken, from what I heard, I believe that the Mets lost their game the other day and the Braves won theirs. So, therefore, that means the Braves and the Mets are now tied for first place. I just thought I'd mention that really fast because, Ray likes to make sure that I know when the Mets are in first place. So. Thank you, Ray. Thank you. Brian, wait, I thought that if it's on the internet, it's true. Yeah, Abraham Lincoln said something about that, right? That if whatever's on the internet is true. Basically. Ray says, when the Braves get swept, what are you going to do? Cry? If it happens, I don't know. We'll see. The Braves could win. The Braves are going to win. Me and Ray like to tease each other about baseball. Okay. And another thing, I just saw this not too long ago, that Sasha Banks has changed her Twitter handle to her real name, Mercedes Fernando. She might have some references to WWE still up there. I didn't see it, but I did see that she changed it from Sasha Banks WWE to her real name, Mercedes Fernando. So does this mean that, she's no longer with the well, she isn't with the company, but as far as we know, but is she gone forever and decided she's going to hang up her boots and walk away from WWE? She's a big enough star. She could do that if she wanted to. She's very talented in many areas, so I don't know if that's of any consequence, but we'll see what happens. Obviously, as a big wrestling fan, we want to see her back, but we also want these people to be happy and to be doing what they want to do. So we'll see where she goes from here. It could also be that she just wanted, to just make it fully her own Twitter handle, and it could be a ruse to kind of be like, oh, she's never coming back, and then totally surprise and blindside us and show up at some point. We'll see. All right, so that is basically all the news of that I could see for this afternoon. If anything else. My music corner, John says, I haven't missed 3 of the 4 horsewomen. I like all 4 of them, honestly. I'm really big fans of all 4 of those. Of course, Becky's hurt, so she's going to be gone for a little bit. Sasha, her status is up in the air. Bailey is killing it on Raw right now. And Charlotte, not exactly sure what she's doing. I guess she's just taking some time off after she got married and just spending time with her family, whatever. I don't know what she's doing. I'm fans of all 4. I think all 4 are standout talents. And although I do understand that the beef of some people have with them, that they get all the spotlight, they don't make room for all the women, blah, blah, blah. I don't think it was all their fault. But we'll see. We'll see what Triple H does. Ray says that he would like to see Sasha in AEW. She would crush it. I don't know if she'd be interested in going over there. I mean, we'll see. Lance is asking, do you see AEW have any surprises for tonight? This is Geek, by the way, from Dudes at Ringside podcast. Shout out to those guys. They do awesome work over there. No, honestly, I don't. Is probably because AEW is based out of Florida. A lot of their employees, a lot of their talent live in Florida. They're probably just trying to get by this week and just probably try to coast and get some sort of show out for tonight. I don't really see a surprise, but I could be wrong. I don't know. We'll see. And Harry is in the house. Shout out to Straight Up Wrestling Show. Hope you guys are doing good over there. So, without further ado, let's get into the show for tonight. We will start off. I don't think this is a world title match. I think this is just a plain old regular match. As far as I could see, I could be wrong, but Jon Moxley versus Juice Robinson. Juice Robinson is New Japan, isn't he? I think so. Anyway, Moxley is a giver. He was supposed to be on vacation until mid-October, I guess you would say. He was supposed to take some time off, but of course, with all the debacle, Jon Moxley rose to the occasion. He is now champion, taking the company by the reins and tricking it on. And kudos to him. My goodness, company dude trying to do the best for AEW and taking on a lot here. And I think this is just a way to get Jon Moxley on the show, give him a good win over somebody that I'm guessing people really like in the wrestling community. And it'll probably be a really good match, and looking forward to seeing Jon Moxley on the show, like always. Okay, Juice is in the Bullet Club, okay? Yep, he works for New Japan. Thank you. I thought so. MJF will probably do something here. I'm not sure. Okay, they had a good feud in New Japan. I don't really watch New Japan all that much. I know who people are vaguely, but I don't watch it religiously. So it's kind of like just something that I might check out here and there, but I don't watch it religiously. Sorry. Okay, next. We have an interim women's championship, Toni Storm versus Serena Deeb. I think Serena pinned Toni Storm a couple weeks ago. And so Toni Storm, once again, for the second week in a row, has to put her championship on the line against Serena Deeb. It'll be a good match. I see. They're not really building anything with Serena, so I don't see her actually winning the title here. Of course, who knows what they could do? I'm not sure. It's a match on the card. These two girls kill it every single time. So, I'm happy for them in that sense. I just wish that if they were going to have matches like this and that they were going to promote matches like this, that something would go with it and it wouldn't just be so random and just like, oh, here's a match. Oh, here's a match. Oh, here's a match. Give the women some story. I know y'all are probably tired of hearing me say that. I say it every week as far as our AEW women's roster goes. Give the women some story. Toni Storm is a great character. She has a lot of charisma. Serena Deeb, the professor stuff is just fantastic. Give them something. I mean, just random matches all the time. If they're going to do something, let's do it. I mean, I know they're telling some story over with Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter and things like that, but if you're going to put the women's championship, I don't want to. Every once in a while, like, oh hey, we're going to have a title match. It's fine, but you have the random title matches week after week, pay-per-view after pay-per-view. Well, we don't have to do that all the time. Give them some story and make some of these, at least a few of these championship matches mean something. I don't know. All right, we got some. Okay. That's right. Timothy says, I had got juice in this match and never go against any member of the Bullet Club. Okay. Storm wins, but Britt attacks her. Okay, I can see that too. Serena Deeb should have been Ring of Honor Women's by now champion. Harry says, definitely give them some storylines. They're wasting them giving it meaning. Okay, yeah, they're not giving the championship matches any meaning at all. It just feels random all the time. And I understand that they're trying to tell the story with Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter and teasing all of that stuff, and that's fine. But you don't have to sacrifice the women's championship to do all that. I mean, you can have two things going on at once in the women's division. I don't know why that's so hard of a concept for them to grasp, but it is. Okay, off my soapbox, I promise. Off my soapbox. Okay. All right. Last week, what did you guys think of the Ring of Honor? We have our new Ring of Honor World Champion, Chris Jericho. He's putting his title up against Bandito. I think Bandito is signed with Ring of Honor. I know I saw him in a few matches on there. I think last spring, I think he was in the title match against the guy who had the Ring of Honor title before Claudio. I think they had a match or something like that. But anyway, Jericho is putting the Ring of Honor championship against Bandito. What did you guys think of Jericho even winning the Ring of Honor championship in the first place? Were you for it or against it? Just wondering. I'll go ahead and tell you what I think. I love Claudio. I am a huge fan of his. I'm glad that he got the title to begin with. He kind of carried Rampage there for a while. I know people say, oh, it didn't matter because, no one watches Rampage or whatever, but it was a cool place for him to be. But I understand what they're doing with Chris Jericho because Chris Jericho is a household name. More people know who Chris Jericho is than they do Claudio. Let's be honest. So if AEW, if Tony Khan is trying to get a TV deal for Ring of Honor, putting the Ring of Honor World Championship on a name that all of these people are going to know in Chris Jericho is probably the smartest thing to do. I mean, that's what happened at the beginning, when AEW first started. Put the title, make the first champion of their company somebody that everybody knows. So I understand that 100%. So I'm not against Jericho having the Ring of Honor World Championship in one bit. It actually elevates it some. What do you guys think? I know Bandito for New Japan, but hopefully he signed with Ring of Honor. I thought he did sign with Ring of Honor, but I could be wrong. Should be a heck of a match. Jericho deserves to have the belt because it's the one belt has never won. We'll give the belt meaning, yeah. My music corner, I think it's a shame they took it off of Claudio so quickly. They didn't really. I mean, I guess in like old school terms, it was quick, but Claudio had it from like what, June, July, August, 3 months. Okay. I guess it seems quick. It just felt like a little bit longer. I thought he had it for like 5 months or something, but it wasn't that long. Sorry. Ray says Jericho winning stinks. He doesn't need the belt. I think Adam Cole should be champion next. Well, of course, you want Adam Cole to win all the belts, right? He needs to be Ring of Honor champion. He needs to be AEW champion. He needs to be TNT champion. He needs to be tag team champion. I'm just kidding. I like to pick on you about Adam Cole. He doesn't need the belt, Ray. You're right. Jericho doesn't because he's a legend, right? But the thing is that the belt needs Jericho. It's totally different. Jericho doesn't need that title. The title needs Jericho. It's completely opposite. So he's going to elevate it instead of the other way around. Harry says, you can build Claudio into a star and potentially a huge one. Jericho is a household name, a true superstar in the world of wrestling, but he's 50 years old and the downside of his career. Yeah, he's just doing what he can while he can still do it in order to establish what they got going on with Ring of Honor. I think that's basically what's going on. And Ray's really excited about what I said about Adam Cole. So, let's give him what he wants. Adam Cole winning all the titles, all the belts. I would like to see Adam Cole back. I'm hoping he's healthy soon and can come back. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Okay. Moving on. The women's division got a surprise last week when Saraya, formerly known as Paige in the WWE, showed up at the very end of the women's match, and of course the heels cowered away, and she stood tall and held up the hands of the baby faces. And I guess we'll hear what's really going on. I saw some people reporting that she's not cleared to wrestle. And then, of course, she comments on her Twitter later and saying, don't believe the dirt sheets. Again, someone else saying, don't believe the dirt sheets. Tune in on Wednesday. So I guess it's just up in the air. We're not exactly sure what is in store for Saraya, what she's going to do. But either way, she's going to be a big help for this division, whether she's in a managerial role or she's wrestling, or maybe, I don't know, she's going to be the commissioner of the women's division or something. I mean, I'm just throwing crazy ideas out there what they could do with her. But anything she does is pretty good. Even when she's given stink pellets, she usually makes the best of it. So I think getting her in is a good thing. And that, like we said before, that women's division needs some help really badly. And so with her signed on and ready to get to work with these women, I think it's going to do a whole lot of good for them. So we'll see. My friend Chris is in the house, and he says, Saraya, I'm super excited about her return. Hope she's healthy. I hope so too. Ray says, issue 100% neck injury is no joke. I guess we will see. Saraya probably team up with Jamie Hayter, or she would be Jamie Hayter's manager. I don't know. She kind of, we'll see. She was kind of standing tall with the baby faces last Wednesday. I guess you wouldn't reveal a heel turn with her though until later. You wouldn't do that on their night her first night like there, because people aren't going to boo her. Not on the first night either. Anyway. Um, so yeah, we're gonna figure out. I will be honest. If she wrestles, if she's cleared to wrestle, I'll be really excited about it. However, I will feel very concerned for her health. I hope she chooses. I'm going to say this as nicely as possible. I do not mean anything by this next comment that I'm about to make. I'm not saying that the women in AEW are horrible wrestlers or they don't know what they're doing or anything like that. I just think that they are very young and they still have a lot to learn, obviously. And I'm going to use an insider term here. A lot of the women in there are pretty green, so I would be really scared to see her wrestle some of them. I hope she's very careful and hand picks her opponents that she's in there. So, because basically, if what happens to her, if she got in the same position as Ruby Soho a couple weeks ago when Ty Milo, I think is her name. If Ty drops her on her head like she did Ruby, that wouldn't go as well. So yeah, let's hope that she's very smart about who she would get in the ring with. I don't want her in the ring with Jade. I don't want her in the ring with Ty Conti, Milo, whatever. So I would say Serena Deeb, Britt Baker, Madison Rain. Those names would be. We'll see. Yeah, I saw that. That was pretty rough. John says, I hope she's good to go. She got knocked out pretty fast the last time she was cleared. Yeah. So Timothy says that Jamie Hayter will turn face soon, probably. Chris says, I think, no, this comment, sorry. It keeps moving on me. I feel the exact same way. I think her risks are so much higher wrestling in AEW. Yeah. Oh, we said some of the same names. Sheeta, Serena, Tony, Ruby, and Britt would be safe for her. We'll see. Yeah, Thunder Rosa would also be good when she's back. We'll see. And Timothy's very upset about Britt Baker. He's not happy about what happened. You know, Britt Baker might have, Jamie Hayter has quote unquote forgiven Britt Baker, but Timothy Gonzalez has not. Sorry about that. I'll be giving her the side eye too. Okay, last but not least on the official thing, and then maybe we'll get into some speculative stuff. MJF is scheduled to appear tonight, probably talking some more trash about Jon Moxley. And I'm still not sure what's going on with this chip. Is it something that he has to officially announce, like, okay, I want my match against Jon Moxley at the next pay-per-view or whatever? Or can he turn it in like a Money in the Bank situation? I still don't know what he can and can't do with that. So I guess it's all up in the air on what happens, because we could have a little thing tonight where he cashes it in tonight after his match against Juice and, MJF is the dude. Or is he going to say, hey, I want my title match against Jon Moxley at Full Gear in November? We'll see. Heard Bobby Fish tried to get Cole to leave. Yeah, I heard that too. Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly seem to be happy in AEW and want to stay there. So kudos to them, I guess. Geek is saying MJF versus Moxley at Full Gear. I think that's the obvious choice. That's what I would do. Ray says, I think he has to announce when he wants to fight. I don't think it's Money in the Bank. Okay. And MJF has a plan, but he's not going to tell anyone. That's true. He's not, is he? Fish denied it on his podcast for what it's worth. Yeah. You know, you hear things, and it's not always true, right? Like we were just talking about, how quote unquote dirt sheets were saying a bunch of stuff about Malachi Black, and he was saying, no, I never said that. And then Saraya coming out and saying, you know, don't believe the dirt sheets about my health and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, you never know. Fish is not even signed. It's just a rumor, I believe. Yeah, he showed up on Impact last week, didn't he? I mean, so, you know, I don't know what's going on there. I heard I saw pictures of him showing up on Impact, so he's obviously not with WWE at the current moment. So, and I really don't see. Okay, I've met Bobby Fish. He was a lovely person to meet. Really nice guy. I met him and Kyle O'Reilly once before, and I like talking to him and everything. So I'm not saying like he's horrible or anything like that. I'm just saying I don't see how he would be appealing on his own, if that makes any sense. Like if he's not going to be with Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly in like an Undisputed Era situation, I really don't see WWE being interested in him on his own. And that's not like faulting him or anything. It's just the way I see it. But MJF is up to something, and we're not going to know what it is until it happens. And that's what's so great about MJF. He's an awesome character, and I'm going to be excited to see what happens next. Well, that's cool and everything. I'm glad for him. But that doesn't mean that they're going to want that he thinks. I don't know. I just personally wouldn't want him without the other two, but that's just me. Okay, so some other cool things that happened last week. The Acclaimed are our new AEW Tag Team Champions. That was an awesome moment for them. I'm so happy. They are so entertaining, so charismatic. I know there's some things. it was funny because last week my husband watched AEW with me from start to finish, and I think it was the first time that he saw the Acclaim, and he was like, yikes, as far as some of the things that they were saying and doing and everything and all that kind of thing. But they are a lot of fun to watch, and they're actually pretty decent wrestlers too. And they did all of this on their own. They weren't like the chosen ones, so to speak. You know, the crowd, the fans chose them. So that's a pretty cool thing too. I really enjoyed their match. I didn't like the match as much as the one at All Out with Swerve in Our Glory, but it was still pretty good. And I like that little encounter between Billy Gunn and Swerve Strickland. I thought that was pretty cool. I would love to see them two wrestle at some point. I think of course, Swerve Strickland is going to be an amazing heel because we've seen that before, and he's so talented, so talented. Keith Lee, I don't know if we've ever actually seen him as a heel before, but I would be really, really interested to seeing what a heel Keith Lee would look like. I think it would be fantastic if they did it right because he has that sophisticated academic air about him. You know, he talks very well. He's very affluent, so he could use that to his advantage and just be kind of like snooty almost about it and be like, I hate to say I'm better than you because that's MJF's thing, but kind of that air about him, like I'm intelligent, I'm sophisticated, I'm educated, and you're just a bunch of, hillbilly backwater people, So I think that would be a lot of fun. I would be interested to see that. All right, what do you guys say? We have, well, Harry, we'll go ahead and do yours. MJF is a true game changer. Tony Khan needs to convince him to wrestle more on TV. I'm going to disagree with you on this just a little bit because I think him not wrestling on TV all the time puts him in a whole different category. Now, it's fine like with Jon Moxley because he's kind of quote unquote people's champion almost. I'm going to fight anybody, anywhere, at any time. That's his shtick, his thing. MJF is he's more he thinks before he acts. You know, he has a game plan. He's not going to just rush into something and just be he plans his matches out strategically, and he's not just going to wrestle anybody. He's not just going to wrestle anywhere. He does it the right person at the right moment at the right time. So knowing that about him, it kind of elevates him more because he's such a like quote unquote horrible person, right? His character is just evil, and he's just this evil, conniving person, right? So you really want to see him get his butt kicked, but that's not going to happen. You're not going to feel that way about him if he's wrestling all the time. So I think it elevates his character, and it kind of makes him like a cartoon villain almost, but not as cheesy and goofy. But that's just kind of how I see that. So I really like what they're doing with MJF, and I think he's being very smart. So he doesn't need to wrestle on TV every week. He should not wrestle every week on TV, as far as I'm concerned. But it's all subjective, right? So you can have that opinion, and that's fine, and I can have my opinion, and we're all good. Sorry. Throat got a little bit dry. MJF doing the same obnoxious thing every week for another 6 weeks or so until Full Gear might actually get him booed after a month. Well, that's the point, right? I mean, because everybody is cheering for MJF right now because they are so desperate. Because let's be honest, okay? Everybody knows that Eddie Kingston's my favorite person on AEW, and that's not going to change. But, however, I will say that MJF is the best thing on AEW right now. He is the most interesting. He's the most, he's the most interesting and the best segment on the show at the moment. So they're going to cheer for that. It's going to be hard not to. So if that's the plan, that's the way he's going to have it done. Because at the end, that's what he wants, is for everybody to boo him. The Acclaimed are amazing. The crowd loves them. Yep. Match of the night at Arthur Ashe. Yep. Harry says it wasn't a great match, but it was great seeing the Acclaim get the victory. I thought the match was fine. It just wasn't as good. Very funny, Timothy. Oh, yeah, I agree. I mean to say that that's a good plan if they do that. Yeah. Okay, so moving on. If y'all watched the watch along that we did for Rampage last week, you saw me be very upset about this Eddie Kingston thing. I'm okay with them moving on, continuing the story with him and Sammy, because they obviously didn't get to have their match at All Out because they had that little, rift, that little scuffle backstage. Of course, that was all resolved and everybody's cool now, so they're trying to resume that and get back to it. And they'll probably have a pay-per-view match at Full Gear, and it'll all be good. I think I know what they're doing with Eddie, but at the same time, I'm just like, he's one of the most intriguing people. He gets one of the biggest reactions, and I just feel like that's just kind of taking it away, and that they're trying to. It feels like it's squashing that, and I don't know if that's just me being too personally involved or what. Like, Tina, calm down. Eddie's fine, but I don't know. I think there was a lot of things wrong. Number one, I think it was a mistake for Eddie to be on Rampage, because by then the whole arena was like exhausted. So he didn't get the reaction he would have if the crowd wasn't so tired, because he's the hometown boy, right? And then the other thing is that they were just that stupid finish just kind of sucked even more air out of the place. But Eddie's my favorite, so I'm going to be like invested. Shane says, "Hello, Shane. How you doing? As much as everyone loves MJF, to me, Sammy and Ty are the most interesting on AEW. I think Sammy can get as much heat as MJF. I think he is getting the most heat on there, and it's not, oh, I hate your guts heat. It's more of, please get off my TV, that's gross heat. There's a difference. Of course, he's kind of playing with that, right? So he's using that to his advantage." Ray says, "Lucha versus Jungle Boy is horrible. It was intriguing there for a while, and now it just feels dead in the water to me." Yeah, I think Eddie is fine. His whole shtick is that it doesn't matter if he wins or loses. I get that. But at the same time, I'm emotionally invested and I want him to win. Let's be honest. Sorry, my throat is really dry because I've been talking for like 40 minutes. I am tired of the Jungle Boy Luchasaurus thing too. It was good for a little bit, but they kind of killed it. And I'm just, this back and forth thing with Luchasaurus, it was just weird. And I don't know. I don't get it. Well, guys, I am going to go ahead and log off because my throat is really dry and I don't think I could talk all that much anymore. And I've got church and all that kind of stuff for tonight. Hold on, guys. Hold on just a second. My allergies, my throat is dry, all that crazy stuff just hit me all at once. So I'm going to go ahead and say y'all have a good evening. I hope you guys enjoy the show tonight. As always, thank you so much for joining me here on the Real Wrestling Community. If you're not following the page, go over there to the Real Wrestling Community on Facebook. and give them a like, a thumbs up. And we appreciate the support. And I will see you guys on Friday for a TRWC tailgate party of SmackDown and Rampage. And so y'all have a good evening. See you later.